Never thirsty. Never thirsty.
Who do you think was more gangster, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
Probably the Stones.
That's what I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know, bro.
Probably the Beatles, because like that's why they broke up.
I'm gonna give you the answer, but you ain't gonna be ready for it.
I can't wait to hear it. This is
Everyone says that the Beatles would have whooped ass on the Rolling Stones.
Really?
Wow.
Because they were dress up thugs. They were real, like, not really spoken for thugs. That the Stones were not necessarily like that with it.
Interesting.
And
Wow.
you know, they all like black music, but
Of course.
the Beatles kind of had a different. They were the youth angst on the come up, whereas the Stones kind of had it a little bit more hippier.
Well, you know, Little Richard, rest in peace. He says that he's the one that just brought these guys out on the road for the first time. Like none of these guys were anything until they like got on a tour with Little Richard.
Oh, here's another bar. If you didn't know, a lot of the first records that the Beatles sang that got them popular were Motown artists.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody knows that.
Well, a lot of people don't understand it, but the reality is they basically lip synced over Motown records.
Oh, you're saying they didn't even sing?
I know they sang, but they didn't even make the songs different.
Right. Now that's no. Oh, so they just straight up stole them, like stole the songs?
No, you don't steal from Berry Gordy. But you know, it took a minute for them to get all that in order because they just gangstered their way through it. Like, okay, mixtape time, let's go.
Imagine the publishing there. I mean, you're in a band with the Beatles, and like McCartney and John Lennon get writing credit for every song, and Ringo and George not on every song. It's like two guys made like $1 billion, and the other guys made just $1 billion. But you know, it's no wonder when the money gets so big, and you've been around some artists like that, where the money it becomes a different level of success. You know, there's I think that the success you probably had with Rectangle stuff and Baker Boys and all that was very satisfying to you because that's you, that's organic, you're making it happen, and it's sort of you're starting to see your vision come to life. But there is a level of another level, like when you get to that Beyonce, Jay-Z level, like there's a whole other life there where you can't even go outside anymore. It's you know, that's a whole different level of fame. Now, have you seen some artists kind of changing up? I know we don't have too much time left. We're gonna have to do this again, man, because this is great. But,
Yes.
Is there somebody that you saw change? Like I don't want to use Will.I.Am as an example, but that's a guy
Use Will.I.Am as an example. Use him as an example. I've seen Will.
There's a guy that was like a break dancer, freestyle rapper when you probably met him.
You knew when you saw Will, you were going to have a good time at the party. The party was ready to get started. We were going to go out dance one another. We were going to have a good time. It wasn't me on an executive level, even though I was trying to cut my teeth and be in the game. Will would call me from high school and bust a freestyle and be like,
Will 1X.
What? I gotta go. And you hear the bell ring. He's like, oh, I'm late for my class, click. And he was calling me from the payphone at school. Like every day he would call me and bust a freestyle to ask me, is he ready yet? And I was like, this is so fun. No, you're not ready, but this ain't a song. I can't do nothing with this. This is just fun. But when we would see one another out, it wasn't like Will was mad younger than me. I was just done with school and he was, you know, coming of age. And then just to be like watching we offered, you know, obviously we offered them a deal. Terry's like a brother to me, Terry Heller.
Yep.
We actually gave him his first deal and was his manager, moving him around. We all know one another. We all got down with each other. And if you would have told me Will was going to blow up to this proportion, I wouldn't have been able to tell you you're right. But with such style, grace, and finesse, you know, I'm super proud of all my bros that made it on the other side of success and could take care of their families through their art. I'm so proud of watching those that you see and you go, wow, I'm so proud of them. Flow Rider,
Yeah.
Proud of Flow Rider, you know, and being there from the start, like the like dirt piss poor start to watching them be in a position where they could go buy buildings downtown LA if they felt like it, if it so pleased their spirit. And man, it's not just the rappers. I look at Big Boy, who just got a star on a Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Did he? That's amazing.
Yes, he did.
Wow,
Yeah.
good for him.
You know, and Big Boy, I felt partially responsible for his support system, you know, here in LA. And you talk about the radio and him being on the air, and I was the one who walked him up to the station.
Wow.
And said, you know, now you're going to be on the air.
And back then, not like, I mean, maybe it still is like that, but I don't listen to the radio like that, like I used to. But back then, the DJs were stars, like Big Boy, Baker Boys. I remember Theo on the 92.3, like, you know.
Oh my God, he took my. Theo took my. I'll tell everybody twice. This
Being from New York, you guys said a whole bunch of stuff that I have no idea what y'all talking about, and I'm as hip hop as they come.
Theo, he was like, "This is Theo." He was like, he had that voice.
He used to make him want to be. We want to get up there with you. He was, and then come to find out, no one knew the script was he was Asian. He was a hip Asian dude, but the fact is that he was Asian, and everybody thought he was a good-looking brother on the radio, sounding all cool. He was fresh.
That's so funny. I mean, I hope you had a good time here, man. I'd love to do this again. We didn't even talk about what you're doing now. There's so much. I mean, I feel like I could just throw names at you and you can spit back. We could just do this. You know what I mean?
From here to New York City, believe it.
I mean, I love
Dope career, brother.
Thank you. I will say this: as much as I've absolutely enjoyed having this time with you, thank you so much. I'll come back, whatever you guys want to do. You see, I'm easy peasy. It'll drive me crazy getting me on the call, but it's all good once we get here. But I've always wanted to be a part of the hip hop family. I look as family. And so whenever Curtis Blow wants to pull me to the side, I have a word. KRS-One wants to pull me to the side. Eric B wants to pull me to the side. I look at the elder statements and the guys that have paved the way for us as just that, our elder statesmen, and I'd love to try to position myself to be that. And I want to do business with everybody in hip hop. I feel like that's like my dream come true opportunity. And that's why I chose to do business.
Geldof of hip hop.
Right? I don't know who is that guy, but
that's the guy that put together like Live Aid. You know, it's like
right. So I probably could do that. I would never want to, you know, unless I felt like, you know, hey, we're gonna get us all together and talk about not doing COVID tests anymore or something. I don't know, whatever. But the cool is that I've had an opportunity to work with some of my, you know, some of the people I've been a fan of their work, you know, and so for me, being a part of that art, like F. Gary Gray is one of my closest buddies.
Really?
Being a part of his art and his experience has been nothing short of amazing. Sun Doobie, same thing. Ava DuVernay on her come up as a director out of The Good Life, watching the people out of The Good Life grow up and be successful, from Freestyle Fellowship to, we just talked about Will.I.Am. I wouldn't necessarily say he's out of The Good Life, but I wouldn't say he isn't either. He's in that realm.
Right.
And just being like, you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody who wanted to do business with Ruthless Records, Loud Records, you know, Interscope Records, right. Aftermath Records.
You're a guy that could go into the lunchroom and sit at any table.
And I always have been. I've always been that kind of person. So I say that the day of being able to exchange ideas and share stories is now. You guys are in a prime position. So super shout out to what you guys are up to and how this is going, because you know, you got my support 100%. I'll encourage others to come and be a part of this dialogue.
Thank you.
You know, you gave me the freedom to kind of let some stuff off my chest today.
I'm happy to do it again, man, and we will. Yes. And thank you so much for doing this. You're literally, this was so cool.
Appreciate you, brother.
So cool. And we will do it again.
All right.
And be safe out there, man. Don't get your chain.
WireFang, you gonna say something one time?
Pop. Big
Big up
up.
yourself. Respect.
Big up.
All right, man. Take care, man.
Take care. Have
Peace.
a good weekend. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. And there's a guy that, I mean, we didn't even scratch the surface. And I feel like every single time we're just surface scratch. Maybe we need to change the show from Never Thirsty to the Surface Scratchers.
No.
Scratch surfaces around here. But you know what? The thing that is so exciting for me is that, like, I'm able to keep up with conversation with him. You know, it's like, I know what he's talking about. It's like, you know, and I don't know any LA stuff, like the radio stations. Basically,
you guys,
the stuff we were talking about, just for, you know, in New York, you have Hot 97, right? Mm-hmm. Was there another hip hop station, or that's the one?
No. We had BLS 107.5.
Right.
Kiss FM. That was Red Alert. Was on Kiss FM with Chuck Chill Out. BLS was Marley Marl and Mr. Magic.
Okay,
that's what we had.
So that stuff changed on the East Coast. That changed hip hop forever, because now you could turn on the radio and hear it, right? And so
3 hours on Friday, 3 hours on Saturday.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah. And so in LA, it was like that too. But then, like he was talking about, there was a station called K-Day that was 24/7 hip hop. And then after that was Power 106. We used to be an R&B sort of station, and they changed it to Power 106, where hip hop lives. And it was like 24 hours hip hop. Then 92.3, The Beat came. You had just hip hop on the radio going out all over California. And that exploded the West Coast scene. I mean, before those stations, if you're on the East Coast, the only West Coast thing you would know maybe is NWA. It might stop there. That might be all you know.
It was hard for us to know about the West Coast stuff, because without MTV coming on and we seeing these guys at Jericho. I remember Jericho was a shock for me. I was like, well, I don't know what's happening.
Ice-T,
you're not gonna convince me. I was just
maybe Ice-T is another West Coast guy though. Ice-T was another West Coast guy that people heard for sure.
No, we've heard Ice-T, Colors, because that record, that movie was big, so that movie probably blew up that song. But what's funny, as an older, I loved the West Coast stuff, love it now. But when I was a kid, hearing it for the first time, coming off of Rakim, coming off of Slick Rick, and then I hear some guys talking, like kind of like flow was a little different. I was thrown off, and I was like, "What is this?" You know? So
I would say that, you know, obviously NWA on the West, and we shouldn't be starting this conversation because
you're right. We have
NWA,
another
real quick. NWA, obviously the Mount Rushmore of, without them, there's probably not as big. There's other artists in the West Coast, but that was one that was heard everywhere. But I think after NWA broke up, the records that were coming out of the West Coast were more. You couldn't really play NWA on the radio, but you could play Ain't Nothing But a G Thing, and you could play What's My Name and Gin and Juice, and you could play those songs, and there you go. I mean, a whole movement. Tupac moved to California. You know, it's like,
listen, LA's music is ridiculous. I fully.
I guess we lost him, but that's okay. He fully supports Tupac. I'm Jitty Bambino. That's WireFang. He's back. He's back.
Well, listen, we'll wrap it up, but I'll say this. I didn't know what Compton looked like because we didn't have internet back then. I knew what LA looked like based on NWA.
Or NWA.
And NWA. They showed me what so vivid that I could wake up, kidnap me from here, blindfold me, put me in the middle of Compton, and I would know, sure. I know where I'm at. Yeah. So shout out to that. And let's wrap it up, I guess. We'll continue this conversation at the beginning of episode 6.
If you remember to do so. Don't ever be thirsty, my friends. Don't listen to that guy from that commercial. We'll speak to you soon, folks. Have a good one.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Never thirsty.